Priya, you are a younger generation, you are a younger mother, and we were just discussing in the room outside that maybe things have changed a little bit, right? And mothers or women are not feeling guilt, because that's one of the things that comes with ambition, right? Oh, she's ambitious, now I have to feel guilty about that. So talk us a little bit about that.
So, a few different things here. For me, number one, actually, I changed when my daughter was born. When she was born, I looked at her and I said, she needs to see a mother who inspires her, and she needs to see a mother and a woman and a man who's her father, who's supporting that. And she needs to see a woman in front of her who she can be or be better than. So it's up to us first and foremost to ensure that we are their role models. And I'm telling you, the day she was born, I changed completely.
Beautiful. So Dipali, you said this as well, because you came back, you married early at 18, came from a traditional background, and then after your daughters were 30, you went back to work, which is an unusual decision. I want you to talk us a little bit about that, talk us through that a little bit, because there are a lot of women who start families and then they get out of the workforce and they don't have the confidence to come back. So what did it take? How did you fight your inner demons to do that?
It was just not just the inner demons, but also kind of, very interestingly, coming from a Marwari community, very, very traditional. I have 2 daughters. The big question was that you don't have a son. And, who's going to take this forward? For me, that was a very important aspect.
The outer demons.
The outer demons, yeah. And leading it from there, actually, and I wanted to set an example and open the door for my girls. And that's where it began from, Kalli. For me, it was there that they need to see a mother who can do it from a homemaker to, becoming an entrepreneur.
And do they see it?
They see it. My younger daughter's leading a brand, Christie, in UK and taken that forward. And I think that really makes a difference. And plus, I think for women who work in my offices and my factories, they feel safe as well. The communities that you work with, I think women have that softer side that really makes a lot of difference as well. So I think it truly is, and we always say at Welspun, leading tomorrow together. It's truly that for us as well.
So Debjani, from what I've read, you didn't have that much of a traditional background because you were the first woman CEO of Intel. So you've been supported by your family to have a career and to have ambition. So how important do you see that role of the family? Not to have those outer demons, but to have outer angels, so to say.
Couldn't have done anything without it. Absolutely. I mean, that is so important. I mean, I grew up in a very, very large joint family, with lots of boys. And I was the youngest and I was a girl. And my dad from day one was, whatever these guys do, you're going to do it better. Wow. Right? I mean, that was pretty much. And, I think it's amazing. And this is what I always tell young parents to do this. When you have those ambitions for your child, you have to first communicate it. They have to know. No one reads your mind, right? They have to know that you believe in them. You believe in their ability to do something big. Because of all the boys in the family, there used to be a lot of talk about sports. And I remember space, because that was a fascination, and politics. And Dad would always ensure when he's talking about it, he would give women examples. Right. One of the things my parents got very scared because I was to hear, and that time one of the politicians was Margaret Thatcher. So I started looking up to her.
We're going to have a prime minister in the family.
That scared Dad a bit.
So Priya, you married for love.
Absolutely.
And how important is the role your husband has played in your growth and in making the decisions? Because you also grew up with a very traditional background, right? You were not allowed to go out, etc. And there you made a jump now, and you're heading up the Hindustan Zinc company.
It was a big deal when I broke it to my father that I've been I want to marry someone who I've known for quite some time, and he's not from the community we're in, nor is he from a business family. I think he broke down first. But then, when they met, everything changed, and that's because And I think that's what's important today. I think in urban India at least, the support that men give to to family, to their children. Today, when I'm traveling or when I'm out for work, he's very much 100% their hands-on father. He's there, he's guiding her, he's teaching her. But the problem comes when we're talking about the masses, when we're talking about India as a country and as a whole, and we're talking about the care economy overall. We're talking about women and the privileges that the three of us have got in terms of, education and support from our families. A lot of them do not have. Yeah. And it's up to us now to inspire, to motivate in whatever area we can, how we can collaborate with the government and their schemes and in initiatives that they're taking, such that we can really, at least in our organizations, motivate and inspire these women to come on board. I was saying a story, yesterday, that last year I met our head of security at Hindustan Zinc, is a woman, and she's part of the LGBTQ community. And she told me last year that, Priya, I have two dreams. I want to buy my mother a house, and I want to adopt a baby girl. And just a few weeks ago, she called me and she said, Priya, I've done both. Wow. And this is India. This is today. This is in a small town in Rajasthan where ladies are seen to be even more backward than the rest of the country. This lady has done what she believed and what she truly wanted to do. So, if you dream, if you want to do something, there's nothing that can stop you from doing it. It's up to us to ensure we inspire and we enable as much as we can.
So let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because all three of you come from industries which are pretty male-dominated, right? You are coming from the manufacturing of like a factory blue-collar space. Mm-hmm. You're coming in from mines. You're coming in from tech, which is known for not having enough women, right? What are the things that you think we can do or other people can do as well to increase participation? Can we do a rapid fire on that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'll just go around like a round robin. Okay. Creches or childcare at work.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
More of it.
Menstrual leave.
I think flexible leave to both genders when you need it. And you decide, because sometimes we overdo also. It's not that menstrual leave is not important, but make it flexible.
We have a no questions asked policy that we've just released. It means you can take a day off the month, no questions asked. It's not about menstrual, it's about general, like she was saying, flexible working hours, seeing what the examples that she was giving about prioritizing.
Flexibility, but not just, this is not equality, but I think flexibility for the genders, and I think genders agnostic. Yeah. I think this is very, very important.
Okay. Supportive partners, and how do you do that a little bit, with a class maybe which is not as educated, where maybe the family is not being as supportive? What can you do about that, or what have you done?
Sheryl Sandberg said this so beautifully, that if you have ambitions, then marrying who you choose to marry is the most important career decision you make. I think it's so important to educate women. And whenever I'm talking to young women, especially in schools, colleges, that's the one thing I talk about. You cannot keep your ambitions closed. You cannot keep it hidden. It cannot come as a surprise. You have to tell your partner or to-be partner. And if he reacts in a way that you are surprised, then maybe you need to look for another.
I think it's, exactly what she said in terms of education, but for men and women. And, especially in the masses, in the rural areas where the mother-in-laws are very important. We've seen a lot of the decision-making is done by the mother-in-law and the father-in-law. So, when you have self-help groups, and we have a self-help group in, Udaipur, they make it a point that they go into houses across their communities to make sure they're educating the entire family as to how the man and the woman can be equal, bearers at work. So I think it's exposing them to what they can do, and then making sure they themselves are going and educating individuals who are within their community. That's the only way we're going to spread the message.
Dipali?
I always say, give them wings, they'll fly. And I think the important thing here is that, we did a program with, an NGO called Swasti, where we just didn't, we actually trained the men to share the workload and the family to share the workload. And that way we got more women at the workforce. I think that was very, very important. And I think I always believe that if you empower a woman, you're empowering not herself, but the communities and the children as well. I mean, a growth of 5 trillion GDP that India is dreaming of. And if the communities and women are empowered, I think that's the way we'll see a difference happen.